Good evening to all of you. It's honor indeed to have with us here on stage Chief Justice of Delhi, Mr. A.K. Sikri, who, as he just told you, is not just a judge of the ordinary kind, but a judge who has a deep and abiding interest in the whole process of decision making, and indeed on how the constitutional flavor and the constitutional impact on decision making becomes apparent in the daily work of a judge. It's also both a pleasure and honor to have Mr. K.T.S. Tulsi, colleague from the bar and Vice Chairman of the Law Commission, deeply involved in the area of policing, the area of criminal law, and I hope that his contribution in the years to come will help us refine our criminal justice system enormously. The Chancellor, Sir Atul Chauhan, who gave to you, I believe, a very, very inspiring and straight from the heart message this afternoon. The Acting Vice Chancellor, Dr. Balwinder Shukla, also Major General Nilendra Kumar, who have dealt with over the last couple of years on many occasions that I have come here and at other events in Delhi and elsewhere. And my friends, colleagues, distinguished members of faculty, all the participating students in this quiz. I want to give you some good news. And as I sat there, I saw Mr. K.T.S. Tulsi right hand of the quiz that you were given. And I don't know what marks he's giving himself, but if you really want to know how effective our brains remain after we've been at the bar for some time, you can check that he'll give you an idea of how active some people remain despite moving away from university and getting into the competitive world of everyday lawyering. It's always a great, great honor to come to Amity University. I like the flavor of this place, I like the ambience, the quality of students, and certainly the quality of faculty. And I wonder why, for so many years, we haven't been able to give this quality campus life to law faculties in our country. But of course now there is enormous competition, both in terms of quality and ambience of the various law universities across our country. And I think Chief Justice Sikri is the Chancellor of the University in Delhi, the National Law University in Delhi. Again, very fine, very, very fine campus. And I wonder, down the road, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road, what kind of real powerful and compelling professionals will be there at the bar coming from universities like yours. And therefore, coming here like coming to a cradle of some of the finest products that we will see in the years to come. And Amity University, with its flavor of friendship, is, I'm sure, going to be there right on top when it comes to the legions of performance and foundation. I wish I'm a little bit like a bad penny. Every year I come here and I tell you I have something to do and to go back in a hurry. I think as Chief Justice Sikri said, he wants to come here for a 2-hour, minimum 2-hour engagement so that he can speak to you at length about his views on constitutional ambience and constitutional systems in our country, and how the Constitution plays a very, very significant role in the decision-making life of a judge. But I want to say this to you, that my special interest in life has been, people have all kinds of interests in life, but my life's interest has been in the judicial mind. They don't always show us what's in their mind. They are remarkably rich, remarkably interesting, and remarkably profound things that are inside the mind of a judge. And I think a judge is an incredible product of human nature. And I would like one day, after Justice Sikri has spoken about the Constitution, I would like to speak on the Constitution of the judge's mind. I think that's the most fascinating thing, because the judge has to understand language, judge has to understand emotion, judge has to understand compassion, judge has to understand discipline, judge has to understand firmness, judge has to be a creator, and a judge has to be a destroyer. It's almost like combining different faces of God, the Trinity, in one person. That you have to be able to destroy where you see evil, and you have to be able to create where you see the hope and opportunity of building something new. And sometimes out of the destruction you have to create something, and sometimes out of creation you have to destroy something. You can imagine what a high pedestal I place the judge on. And then the judge has great challenges. The judge has challenges of democracy, because we have separation of powers, and there are people like me who are accountable to voters and accountable to the political system. But we've been told that we have an area in which we can operate, and the judges have an area in which they operate, and the legislature then has an area in which the legislature can operate. The important thing is, how do you decide where to draw the line? And that, I say this with complete candor, that where the line has to be drawn ultimately has to be decided by the person who adjudicates, and that's the judge. There are healthy tensions that exist in the area of separation of powers between judges and legislators and members of the executive, but finally the last word, although people say that the last word lies in the Constitution, but frankly the last word lies with the judges, because they are the ones who finally speak on what the Constitution means, what the Constitution entails, and what the Constitution imposes by way of restrictions. And I just want to leave one thought, and I think this is what I hope Chief Justice, when he addresses you, will also take up. And that is the idea in the Indian Constitution of the basic structure. What is this idea of basic structure? It's an idea created by judges of the Supreme Court. It's not something that's written in the Constitution. But it's an idea created by the judges in order to give the Constitution a meaning. We know that there are provisions of the Constitution by which the Constitution can be amended. There are certain amendments that can be routine amendments. There are certain amendments that require 2/3 majority and majority also of the states to endorse it, and so on and so forth. But the point is, when the judges say that there is, and this is going back to Krishnan and Bharti, when the judges say there is part of the Constitution that you cannot alter, change, or modify, what do they mean by it? There are two views, and I'm sure you have done research on this, those of you who have done constitutional law. There are two views on it, and have always been two views on it from the time that Krishnan and Bharti would argue. Some people felt the judges were overreaching by imposing this restriction on Parliament to amend the Constitution, while others felt that that was the ultimate guarantee of security and of liberty in our country. The judges showed the courage to say there is something that you cannot change. Of course, what is it that something that you cannot change will remain a contested, possibly a contested dimension from generation to generation, and judges will from time to time in their own generation, given the context of their generational approach to law, will give us some idea of what can be modified and what cannot be modified. But I think deep down under, the judges discovered or created or coined or designed this remarkable doctrine of the fundamental or the basic structure of the Constitution. And I think it's something that has a lot of philosophy in. This is something that has a lot of linguistic theory. There is something that has a lot of organizational theory, a lot of statutory interpretation, a lot of historical interpretation, and at the end of the day, I believe it is a reflection of what makes a judge's mind tick. And I think that is an area in which we can very meaningfully and very beneficially look at, research it, and try to find answers to many of the difficult questions that come to us from time to time. And I believe that Mr. K.T.S. Tulsi's concern about the rarest of rare cases, something that he didn't today because of paucity of time touch upon, but he only dealt on the cruelty of keeping a person in death row for an indefinite period, and how the courts have tried to play around with that very difficult area of when to interfere and when not to interfere, despite having pronounced finally on somebody being guilty to the extent of being sentenced to death. So these are very exciting areas of law, very exciting areas of legal philosophy. I hope that some of you, perhaps those who are more academically minded, and those who want to delve into these ideas will do so in due course when you do your next degree, or even while you're practicing, that you will find time to delve into these ideas. I just want to acknowledge that it's wonderful to be here again and again, and I have promised in the past I will come whenever you want me to come. I will be here. It's wonderful to be with you young budding lawyers. I wish you the best in the years to come. I hope that you will make Amity proud of you, and certainly I believe you will make India proud of you. Thank you very much.